pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 178. No historical precedent. Smartphones. Often, when we are looking at our current times, looking at the trends of the day, when we think about them, we use our understanding, our previous knowledge, we use our reference points to make sense of it. That is natural. So as we try to make sense of the trends of this day, of our time, we go through history. We look for historical precedents. And we kind of search and associate and make links and draw parallels. And we look for patterns to try to predict, try to make predictions. What is this current trend going to lead to next? So we go through some historical precedents or some turns of events that seem similar to our mind, and from that we make analogous arguments into what we think will happen next for us in the here and now. That is usually what we do. That is what we feel is sort of available to us, our common method. However, some things, some developments do not really have any precedent. Some things are simply new. Some things are simply unprecedented. Today's episode is called No Historical Precedent Smartphones. So what we are focusing on today are the smartphones. And we pause for a second or two and dedicate some time to thinking about and thinking out loud about these new smartphones. They have been around since about, 2007, 2009, somewhere around there. So about 15, 17 years, something like that. I think it can be interesting to start with a literary parallel. Almost exactly 300 years ago, in the year of 1726, the author Jonathan Swift wrote the now famous novel Gulliver's Travels. And in the beginning of the book, as we said, written about 300 years ago, the main character, Gulliver, goes to an island. He is shipwrecked onto an island, and he is captured by the people of Lilliput, the Lilliputians. And they confiscate all of his belongings. And one piece of his belongings is his pocket watch. His pocket watch on a chain. But the Lilliputs, they have no concept of a pocket watch. So they simply describe how Gulliver himself is relating to the object. His behavior towards this object, towards his pocket watch. And what they say is, I'm gonna look it up in the book here. The Lilliputs observes that it seems that this object could be the god that he worships. And they reason this is so because seldom did he do anything without consulting it first. So, and Gulliver even himself calls this pocket watch his oracle to the Lilliputs. So this sort of object that he keeps in his pocket, this pocket watch, is both by himself and the Lilliputs described to be something like a god or an oracle to him. He does nothing without first consulting with it. And this piece of fiction is written 300 years ago. But it is not far-fetched for us to think of the smartphones in light of this description. So 300 years ago, people picked up their pocket watch and wanted to know what time it was before making a decision. So just one kind of information, just telling the time. And that was enough for this behavior to manifest. Just one piece of information, just one aspect of life, what time it was. And this is the closest historical precedent that I have come up with on this topic. Could be more and better precedents, I don't know. But if we just Take this example. Gulliver seldom made any decisions without first picking up his pocket watch to gain insight into one variable, into what time it was. And then we fast forward to our day, and we all know that this behavior is very much true for our time and the smartphones. Seldom do people make any decisions without first picking up their smartphones and consulting with it. The smartphones are present in everything. In our times, many people, most people, whenever they are just a little bit bored, they pick up the smartphone from their pocket. In our time, most people, whenever they arrive at some small problem, they pick up their smartphone. In our day, whenever most people arrive at they want something, they have something they're looking for, or something they are wondering about, some information, they pick up their smartphone from their pocket. They consult with what a Lilliput would observe to be their god. That from the satirical perspective of Jonathan Swift, the smartphone of our day in effect is like our god, because we seldom do anything without first consulting with it. The point of making this argument is to acknowledge that we do not yet know what consequences this behavior of ours have or will have on us as people. All we know is that we seldom do anything without checking in with our smartphone. We become less and less autonomous and more unsure of ourselves. That we sort of double check and triple check most of our decisions with this piece of technology. Some people live without smartphones. Some people regulate or sort of cut down on their smartphone usage. But they are very few. Most people use it all the time for anything and everything. Here, in our thinking, in our discussion, we reach a critical point. What we could do now is to move on to speculate about what other trends in our day that could be correlated with us making ourselves so dependent on these smartphones. We could do that. We could start speculating at this point. But we won't. We won't, not now at least, because it is still early. We are still early in this new phenomenon. We are in the midst of this smartphone time. So our speculations will probably be quite erratic and quite quite confused, since we are in the midst of this trend. What we do instead, as we are in the midst of this smartphone trend, is to use our intuition, to feel our way, to be part of the drama, to not try to exclude ourselves, to not try to distance ourselves from what it is. We do not want to distance ourselves because that would be delusional. We cannot. We are engaged with these smartphones. They are here. Right now they are here, and they are they hold a central position in the drama right now. So what we do instead is that we pause for a second or two and simply take a moment to feel how these smartphones make us feel and how life felt before the smartphones. Before 2007. How life felt in the 90s and early 2000s. Life felt very different then. And it is not necessary to try to outsmart ourselves and try to come up with nifty speculations about what the smartphones are doing for us. Now is the time to just feel, to be part of this development, and pause as we are living our lives with smartphones in a central position, perhaps more central than ourselves, that we play second fiddle to this gadget, to this piece of technology in our pocket. Because we do. We do play second fiddle. And that makes us feel things. And the point of today's episode is to feel things towards this gadget. We do. We feel a lot. We feel a tremendous lot of feelings towards this smartphone. It came and took over basically everything very quickly, in a matter of years. It came like a wave. It is quite a feeling to play second fiddle to a thing. It didn't feel like that before 2007. It just didn't. Before the smartphone, it could feel like we had a phone or that we had a computer. But since the arrival of the smartphone, it can feel like the smartphone is having us. That is something else. And we will see how the smartphone changes our lives going forward. It will. And we will see if we will take back playing first fiddle, if we will take back our sort of agency. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But that doesn't change the fact that it is like it is now. That we are being had by this gadget. That it is like our God now. In real practice, it's like our God. So, the observation of Jonathan Swift 300 years ago sounds quite true for our context as well. We will see. That's it for today. Thank you.